I've been going so long I don't know where to start. Heads Carolina, tails California. Alright, fuck. So, shit. So North Carolina got an executive order, and it's basically the bathroom shit that people have been bitching about the past year. Now, originally I thought that it meant any business whatsoever had no right to discriminate against people going into a female bathroom. Like, if a man wants to go in a female bathroom, that they have to do it. And first of all, I'm pro-discrimination. Discriminating is a good thing, especially when you're doing something like discriminating based off competence. And let's be honest, we do that because if somebody passes as a transgender and they're competent and they look how the other sex looks, you don't notice, you don't care. But if it's questionable, somebody's probably going to say something, and they're not transphobic for saying it. They're just going to, point out the fact, this doesn't make a lot of sense. You're confusing me. Which I don't see as a bigoted thing of doing. And if you do see that as a bigoted thing to do, cease. That's enough out of you. But it doesn't mean that. It does not mean that at all. It means that people within the administration cannot discriminate against all the things you're not supposed to discriminate against. Sex, gender expression, orientation, race, blah, 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 ethnicity. Great, fine, wonderful. I'm okay with that because the government shouldn't be discriminating based off things like that. Private businesses owned by private citizens should be able to do that. The government, not so much. I see people voting heavily in favor of the government not being allowed to discriminate against its own citizens. However, that's just the broad brush that this whole thing gets painted with. The more devilish little details, such as the government cannot stop a man from going into a woman's bathroom. Since that's in there, it muddies the waters a bit. I don't know how people would vote, but I certainly know that I hate when an executive order comes down like this under the guise of some moral superiority. Fuck you, man. And that's really all. That's really it. If you work for the government, you can't discriminate based off all the things you're really not supposed to discriminate against because it makes you a dick. And if you are contracted by the government, as a company, you can't discriminate against anybody for the things you're not supposed to discriminate against, which I'm fucking kind of on board with. If you don't want to follow the government's rules, don't get contracted by the government, even though there's a lot of shit the government has to do, and they'll pay for it. Sorry, taxpayers will pay for it. I don't think it takes a totalitarian step across an area that I'm not so comfortable with. I think it stays well within the range of, we're being sensible, but don't take another step, especially without us voting on it. You fucking asshole. Shit, now I gotta talk about California. What the fuck is wrong with California? Okay, fucking Jerry Brown, kiss my ass Jerry Brown, signs this bill. It is no longer a felony to willingly and knowingly, maliciously or not, force someone to contract the AIDS virus. HIV. What? Now the whole idea is to treat it like a public health issue. Which I fucking get until you take into account that people are both lazy and malicious. And furthermore, doing an Eric Cartman to Kyle thing where you just prick them with a needle or something. Not a felony. So confused. And that was earlier this month. And I had had enough of the internet. I was busy with life. And then fucking California with this Bill SB 179 recognizing the third gender, non-binary, for legal documents. And within the bill, healthcare providers who willingly and knowingly refuse to use somebody by they, them pronouns can be jailed, probably just fined, but can be jailed. And then, of course, a fucking wiener. State Senator Scott Wiener. What the fuck is with these wiener guys? Okay, he says that just will not happen. Of course, you look up pictures of Scott Wiener. He's like clearly fucking affiliated on one side here. Like, good for you doing that and getting voted in as a senator. It is California. That place is another fucking country. It's not a different state. It's a different country. I'm just saying, if there is vague language in there and you're trying to sell me on the fact that the unlikely thing won't happen, sorry, bitch. It very well may. Maybe your nurse or whoever the fuck within the health world can speak to you in a way that you don't see fitting, and they can be fined. That's a fucking problem for me. That's kind of annoying. And I wonder, at what point, if you call a he that doesn't think it's a he, at what point does that become a misdemeanor? At what point is it no longer okay to assume somebody's gender? And at what point is it really going to be the case that 99.6% of us are going to be conforming to 0.04% of all transgenders? And let's not forget that people who are non-binary are the vast minority out of that 0.4% of the general population. So out of 0.4%, there's an even smaller subset of people who don't want to go from one gender to the other, male to female, female to male, but instead want to be a different thing entirely. I clearly have nowhere near enough empathy to distort my perception of the world. I'm just not on board. By all means, California, keep being California, you silly fedora-wearing bitches. But God, very soon it will be very clear that the rest of the country has had enough of this shit. It's going too far, and people are getting sick of it quicker than ever. You are not in the minority. You are only the loudest. We're going to drown you out. It's going to happen. My name's Dashin Grizzly. I'm completely fucking unqualified. And I'm back.